All this time has gone by, and Arkansas has gone to now Sweet 16 2 years in a row. It's been all the way back to when you were coaching here. That's how long it's been since Arkansas went to even Sweet 16s in a row, which shows kind of the NCAA tournament problems they had all through the 2010s. What is it like for you now as a fan to just sit back and watch them finally start to do some of the things that you were doing back in the 90s?
Well, it's really good to see it happen because I think the fans deserve the basketball program where you're constantly knowing that you got a chance to be in the Sweet 16 as opposed to just being in the tournament and not being in it at all. So it does me sitting around at home watching the games on the tube. I enjoy it quite a bit, and to relate back to what happened when I was coaching the University of Arkansas, it was something that we just pride ourselves at going to the tournament.
You opened Bud Walton Arena. You were in that building during the best times when the 20,000 seats was a force, a factor. It was a feared place to be if you were an opponent. It was a wonderful place to be if you were a fan. And there were people that told me through the years it can't be that way again. They need to reduce seating, make it more cozy. Now we're seeing it back to the way it was when Auburn came in here, when Tennessee came in here, when LSU came in. All of those teams came in here, and it was Bud Walton again. What was that like, seeing that on TV?
Boy, you know, at first, when we first talked about building that building, I thought 15,000 was quite a few fans that we had to support. But we had that many people on the waiting list. So when it went to 19.6, I believe, it started, I'm sure it was 19.2 at one time, but Coach Bros added a few more seats. But when you have the program that we had in the 90s, I mean, that was plenty enough seats for us, and it still is. I think watching them play and having games like the Kentucky game, the Auburn game, and having the sellouts like they've been able to sell out, when your product is good, people will buy it and come watch you play. And so that's what it's all about, is win, win, win.
You love defense. Arkansas just played a team in a game in which both teams were playing really good defense, and yet you see a lot of these fans talking about how ugly it was. Charles Barkley and the commentators, it's an ugly game. But when you watch it from a defensive standpoint, you get a totally different reaction.
Mike, the greatest thing in the world is that I always say about basketball and defense is that the uglier, that means you're playing some defense to make it look ugly. And of course, if you make it look ugly and can score some baskets, you got a chance to win basketball games. So, you know, I always say a raggedy ride is better than a smooth walk. If I got to go 10 miles in an old beat up raggedy car, I'd rather take that ride, because I'm getting to where I got to go a little quicker than I would if I had to walk it. So ugly is good to me. From a defensive standpoint, the uglier the game, the more I enjoy it.
Already we've got Arkansas fans saying, well, can't hang with Gonzaga. If you have trouble scoring against New Mexico State, you can't hang with those guys. What do you think about that matchup?
Well, you know, I would say that I've thought about it quite a bit, but I really believe that the Razorbacks can win that ball game. There's certain things they do, and the key is how many shots they will be able to make. But the biggest key is, will they continue to play the defense with the intensity level that they have to play with? Because one thing about the Razorbacks that I've noticed, they never quit. You know, there's a time that there's some games that they probably should have lost, but because of their mentality and that swagger that they have and the things that must have pushed into them, keeps them hard to beat. And so I have to put my money on the Razorbacks over Gonzaga.
You told me earlier today that if you were coaching today, you'd be all over this transfer portal. You would love to bring in experienced players. Yes, you want to bring in some good freshmen, but you've got to have some experienced guys with them. The Calipari approach doesn't work if you don't have that. Coach Musselman has done that. He's gone out and got McDonald's All-Americans, but he also wants to have and bring in guys through the transfer portal that can be more mature with that. And we're seeing with Amude and Tony, those guys come forward at the end of the year because of that maturity.
That's true. You know, when you go out and you got a guy that's kid on the team that's 18, 19 you're playing against, and you got a 23, 24-year-old man, he looks at that kid and say, I'm a man, I'm playing a little boy. And a lot of times that's a true factor. Even though the kid could be talented, but because of age and maturity, it changes the whole game. And so Muss has done a tremendous job of mashing that age group along with what he's got with Arkansas kids. That is amazing, simply because during the years you didn't have that many players coming out of the university, coming out of Arkansas that could play on that type of a level. But now the kids are coming out basketball-wise a lot better. So he gets the best of both worlds. He's able to pluck off some of the older kids and then take some of his younger kids and mash them together, and you'd be surprised what you come out with.
I can name off all these coaches: Frank, John McDonnell, Norm DeBryan. They all came in from other areas. Some of them, you, Frank, won national championships. John won a national championships. Others have been successful, but one thing they have in common is these coaches come in here and they don't leave. What is it about living here, when you come in here from the outside, you didn't grow up here, that makes you want to stay?
The people, the terrain, even the weather. It's so many great things that we can enjoy. In my behalf, I love country living, and we made an investment to be here as a coach, and not only that, but this would be home. I thought about leaving right after it happened, but after I sat back and thought about it, those names you called, John McDonnell was a close buddy of mine, the baseball coach, all the guys that I knew, Hatfield, you know, he would talk about how wonderful it was here, and they didn't tell. It's a true factor that Fayetteville is a wonderful place to live. The college, when I came, was a smaller college. Now you look at it, and it's one of the most beautiful universities in the country, not only in Arkansas. So it's just so many wonderful things that me and the family would certainly enjoy.
Do you think Musselman will stay? And if so, where is this program headed? Can they do what you did?
Oh, yeah, you know, everything is, to me, is, you know, it's here to be broken. All records are made to be broken. And if there is any records that we have to be broken, I think Musselman has a great opportunity to do that. He hit the ground running. He had the opportunity to, like you said, go to the Sweet 16 his first year. He's back in it again this year. Anytime you put yourself into those areas, you got a chance to eventually win one, but you got to be able to put yourself in that area. Musselman has done that.